Let's see if this works.
Daddy? Daddy, is that you?
Alright, let's see if my internet's going to hold up for more than 4 seconds. Also, it probably will get taken again, Mike, let's be honest. So, well then. I think there's 18 in the lobby, and today's going to be a bit special. We are about to go. It's going to be a 50% race at Silverstone today. And it's going to be wet in the middle of it. So we could have entirely chaos. But I don't know. We'll wait a minute. Just about to head in. So how's everyone doing? Because I don't know if this is holding up. I quite frankly don't know an awful lot. I hope it is. I'm just going to quickly do a check as to whether or not this is actually holding up. Hello, Saeed. I assume you're still watching. But yeah, now we're going in. Streams is about 20 seconds back, I think. Oh, look at that. One shot qualifying and pouring it down rain. This is the English weather we love to see. Might get a shaken up grid now then. See who can and can't drive in the rain. But either way, so only one race to bring you this time, not two. I'll return back to 2 races of the night after this though. And then we've got probably a week or 2 off. There's no actual race. There we go. We are off. Looks like Bloodway's out. Rigo's out. They just go straight to the back from quality in this. Jack's there as well. It looks like a big turns have had a little bit of a nightmare, and same with Robin and Hallen are not having a great time either. So Staber and Jaguar currently 1-2, and well, that was the case until Jaguar had a bit of a poor corner and dropped to 4th, now in 3rd, and Joe currently plain sailing up into 1st as we go through the end of the 1st sector at Silverstone. As J-Ray's out, so we're down 4. Jaguar currently hits pole, pole at the moment. as we go through the beginning of the second sector. Now Staber, Joe, Jack are all seemingly right beside each other as they keep flipping around as we go further and further into the laps. Donny's 4th, Saeed 5th, Swen 6th at the moment. Yarlo, Millsy and Mike occupy the rest of, well, and Alu occupy the rest of the top 10. Major, Big Turns, Hallinan and Robin, I think, are the ones that are left. Major and Saeed, I think, both just invalidated their laps going through Maggots and Beckett's. It's pretty hard to, not hard to do when you're in the wets. Usually a very easy place to invalidate no matter what. And Joe, well, Major's out, so that's down another one. We're down 5. Saeed also will be excused, so we'll be down 6. Joe goes into the Bale Chicane, comes out the Bale Chicane, got one more corner left. It's still very easy to spin the end of this lap. Goes over the line for pole by just shy of 0.6 of a second. And then Staber just beats out Donny in the end to the front row. But that's going to be extremely easy to Joe then, if that qualifying is anything to go by. Looks like Hallinan had a bit of a spin, maybe Robin and Big Turns also not enjoying the weather that much. This could be very easily shaken up as we go along. Dun, 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 dun. So it's going to be dry to start the race. I already know that we're going dry, full wet, dry as the weather throughout this one. The beginning of the stream. Perfect way to get involved into a stream. What do you mean? Here we go. It's going to be a formation lap, so we're going to run this under normal league race rules. Not usually what we usually do here in sprint. But nonetheless, it gives us a little bit of a chance to figure out who is on what tyre. Jack's just got himself disqualified from the formation lap, same with Mike. And it's mediums the entire way down the pack. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Nobody is trying to take a gamble. Absolutely nobody. Well done.
Wait, can I give inspiration back?
It looks like it's going to be, everyone's going to do the medium hard, so. Okay, so no variation, so strategy won't play much of a point in this, bearing in mind we are going to rain midway through. It's a case of, I guess, when you want to go in, that's probably what your strategy is going to be here. You also take it it's not going to come early enough that sauce might have been introduced, so everyone is thinking the same thing. Kind of do miss the randomness a little bit. Hopefully it's not going to be a lot of chaos. chaos and random are two very different things.
I'll say, look, this way, and then grab his hand and pull him.
But we're going through. We got about 26 laps of racing. Well, tier 1 in first, second, fourth, fifth, ninth. Anywhere else? Also, well, actually nowhere else in the lobby. But it is 4 of the first 5 plus Yarlo. I'm not going to have a camera angle for some reason, but here we go. And lights out and away we go. Can I have a decent camera angle at some point, please? So we head down into turn 1. It looks like Staber got one flyer of a start. Jaguar versus Milsey. Jaguar comes out on top of that one. And I get a decent camera angle down the field, please. We got yellow flags. Mike got in front and a little bit of a tap there from a few people, and it's Bloodwave at the back who has gone spinning. So we go through turn 3, now turn 4. And now through turn 5 up the straight. Swen gets past Mike. It looked like a few people just had a bit of a problem there. Big turn to the wall. Hallinan also going, and I think Yarlo might have been involved as well. Jack gets down the inside of Major. Major not having any practice, just practicing on GT with me about 4 minutes ago. J-Ray also trying to fly his way close enough to J-Ray not to do anything here. Mike and Alu also fighting out in the midfield. And we head into Cots now and down towards Maggots and Beckett's. It doesn't look like an awful lot is going on right now. Let's go through, still in the dry. No, it will come at some point. That's where the strategy will be in this. But until then, we have to watch people do a DRS train, because that's what Silverstone is known for. No, not yet, but after lap 3 it will be. We're just going to see people jostling a little bit for position until then. Joe, 0.8 of a second behind Staber. Staber's start just got him way into the distance and got him a very, very, very good lap off the start of this race. And obviously what you would have wanted if you're Staber, starting in second, jump the guy in first immediately. J-Ray versus Robin. No, like an awful lot happened there as you got Jack directly behind them. Major in the pits, big turns in the pits. Look like they may have sustained a bit of damage. It doesn't look like the same could be said for Yarlo and Hallinan. Also involved in the crash with big turns. Down into the Wellington straight here, and I think Jerry just let Jack by. He's also let Saeed by. I'm not entirely sure why you've done that there. Oh, Saeed getting a little bit close to the Alfa Romeo directly in front of him, but I doubt he's going to be able to do anything in the meantime, especially not down into Cobbs. So he might look for it and backs out eventually, which is the smart thing to do. We've also got Mike versus Alu versus Rigo versus Swen further up the grid. And Staber again, each lap gaining about 0.7 of a second on Joe, maybe even 0.8 of a second a lap on Joe, as it's now 1.6 as they head towards, well, the end of the Hangar Straight. And it looked like Jack against Saeed here is still going to work out in the Alfa Romeo's favour, and Mike versus Swen as well, also working out in Mike's favour at the moment. Rigo versus Alu, they're going to go side by side in the Vale chicane. It looked like Alu going to get it. He went down the inside into the first part, the outside in the second, and able to, well, subdue Rigo for a moment. Rigo's still trying to hold himself close enough though. Jack and Saeed right on the back of Robin, looking to get close, looking to make a move. Jack looking for the outside now, the switch back to the inside. He's tapped the back of the Aston Martin but not able to do anything, and an overtake. We've got DRS now. We head into lap 3. Down the straight, Saeed is gonna pull alongside to the inside, and I think he might get slightly past, so he did until the following corner where Jack's probably got a better exit on the inside, and that's going to be enough for Jack to hold off Saeed for probably another lap. And we're not going to have a Lewis Mack situation, and Saeed backs out of the move there. We head further up, yellow flag in sector 2, and it's Staber! It's Staber that's gone round again, and, well, he had made it, so I hadn't said the big line yet, but I'm gonna have to save it now. It's Staber, he usually goes big or go home. Last week he went huge, he went big. This week it's the opposite, he's gone home, he's in the grass there at Maggots and Beckett's, lost a good dozen positions. Actually had lost exactly a dozen positions as Rigo and Alu both fight it out again. It looked like Rigo went too deep into the Vale chicane and Alu getting clear this time. We got Swen also trying to get Millsy as Mike got past Millsy in the last lap as well. Saber in the pits obviously had damage. It's obviously not over yet. Safety cars and or rain can usually change things as we go along, but we got a few things going on as well. Robin and Jack still fighting it out. Robin still winning. Saeed on the outside also trying to make his name known, but he can't. But also at the same time, not a lot of overtakes. We might have just settled into this DRS train situation because yeah, there's not an awful lot. The DRS here might allow for Jack to make a move, maybe Swen as well, as they're heading down toward the end of the hangar straight, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen there. Yellow flag, and Jack gets passed by Saeed as Hallinan puts it in the wall at Maggots and Beckett's, and it's not able to do anything. Saeed also looking now to overtake Robin and isn't able to do so as Jack gets 3 seconds for track limits. A bunch of battles going on. Joe versus Donny versus Jaguar for the lead after Staber's mistake when he had a 2-second gap. Hallinan picks up 3 seconds now as well. An early pit stop is not what you wanted to make. Not unless there's a safety car anyway, but there hasn't been, and people like Staber might be thrown into a little bit of discontent there after his spin. They look like Swen versus Millsy. They're going to go side by side round the first corner in the second sector, or the second corner in the second sector even, and it looked like Swen going to get past Millsy and does it very nicely, and now he's going to go and chase Michael over again. Alu also on the back of these two. Rigo there as well. So he's trying to get himself involved with Robin as well, as continuing to look on through. Don't think anything's going to happen through Maggots and Beckett though. I think Robin's safe until the DRS zone afterwards. And we're actually in the DRS zone here as Donny's got about 4/10 of a gap behind Joe, as they're also heading up towards Big Turns, who's about to be lapped. Here comes Alu and Rigo again into the Vale chicane. And this time Rigo's got the inside line to begin with and Alu the inside line to end with. And it's still turning the same result. Alu in front of Rigo, and they're going to go through the second to last and the last corner on the lap. Saeed and Robin again off in there for the Ferrari. The Ferrari knows he's close, but the Ferrari also knows he is not close enough. Aston Martin holding him off for now. As looks like we also have a fight for the lead. And Saeed also gets past Robin with the use of DRS. It took a lot longer than he thought it might have, or he wanted it to, but he finally got it done. Rigo also trying to get it done now with Alu, and still not succeeding. Alu's managed to make Rigo earn his position here, and Rigo hasn't done it so far. That might be a warning, a little bit too much. On the outside, Mike picked up 3 seconds for an infringement at Maggots and Beckett's, and it's a bit unfortunate as his penalty cost him last week, and his penalty might cost him again. There's about half a second now splitting Joe and Donnie at the lead of the race as well. We're going to watch as a bit further back, Jack just about fending off J-Ray. They're doing it successfully at the moment. Staber picked up 3 seconds tied to his spin from earlier, and I think we have just seen the animation for rain. And I am right, there it goes. It's going to start coming down. It's on full wet. So we do know there will be a change of tyres. The real question is, when do you do it? Do you do it now? Do you do it at the end of the lap? Or should you? Well, it'll be the end of the lap for everyone, but should you have done it on the lap prior is my question. Jack trying to get his way past Robin, who has a bit of a poor exit and causes Jack to stumble a little bit over a way past. Also looking at Jack versus Robin still, and not really anything happening here for the Alfa Romeo. Just not enough pace in the car to make anything happen. We'll actually go up to Alu versus Mildy, and Rico on the back, and DRS has now been disabled, so everyone's going to pile into the pits at the end of this lap. In order to show that everyone's going on to wet, so intermediate tyres either or. We go down the straight, now it's Alu versus Rigo, and Rigo finally has the ability to get it done early. 5 seconds for a big turn to speed into the pit lane, and yeah, he finally got it done early. Rigo stays out. Alu goes in. Every other person is going into the pits. Robin stays out. Jack into the pits. Yellow, J-Ray, Bloodwave, Hallinan also looking to go in as well. I think he's going to slide around round Stowe. And they go on into the pits. He goes. Staber, is he going to stay out? Is he going to go in? What's he going to do? Everyone currently sitting through their pit stops. Rigo and Robin stayed out. And, well, I guess... Oh, there goes Staber into the wall! And I think he just lost his front wing, going around Stowe. Maybe a bit too much throttle for rain. Well, he has no choice on whether or not he's paying now. Let's see Staber trundle into the pits. Major and big turns also out. Staber gets 5 seconds to speed in the pit lane. Rigo has decided that Rigo's gamble has backfired horribly. He's just sliding his way across the track, and Robin, somehow managing to keep that car extremely straight. We'll wait and see whether or not he's able to keep that going through the lap as he goes through Cobb now and goes through into Magnus and Beckett 6.5 seconds, and Joe is just chasing that time down. You can tell that it's intermediate weather now. The real question, are people just waiting for the wets? If they are, that could be a very interesting strategy. Not one I think is going to work. Especially when Joe is just clambering down that time as we go along. As we go into Stowe, and I think this might be a case that I see a couple of people dive into the pits. It is Rigo and Robin into the pits now. So we head into lap number 9. I think they lost a substantial amount of time from that, to be honest with you. As we see if anyone can actually make any sort of inroads in terms of who is and isn't going to make an overtake. You see a couple of people who stayed out, the 2 people who stayed out a lap longer, trying to take the initiative in going to wet tyres. Now, if that's a gamble that pays off, this could become very interesting very quickly. Saeed going after Alu after he was going after Robin beforehand, but Robin losing about 6 or 7 positions due to the rain. Allows for Saeed to have a clean shot here at Alu in front, the other Aston Martin. And then you've got Mildy just in front of that, and Jaguar just in front of Mildy. Swen, Mike, Donnie all have 3 seconds or more after infringements. for track limits and or going into the pit lane too quickly. And here comes Saeed with his faster car, obviously, because we're on realistic performance. Not really able to do anything against Alu here. It looked like Alu lost, well, Alu's losing time to Mildy rather than gaining it. The more you do that, the more it allows for Saeed behind you to attack. Also, Yarlo and J-Ray directly behind the, well, in the background, looking at something, well, possible move happening there as well. We headed to lap 10 now, 26, almost halfway. And not an awful lot's happened considering we're in the usual sprint. We're in a sprint race, so we're in sprint championship even. So usually used to a lot more chaos. Saeed still closing in here on Alu, but still not able to corner well and effective enough to overtake Alu. Still, it looked like Robin lost the position to Hallinan on the last lap. And if that being the case, maybe shows it's not quite time for the wet tyres yet. It looks like Hallinan's gaining a bunch of time, so the Inters are very clearly a better tyre at the moment. He would gain a lot of time, but now the time's coming down a little bit slower than Hallinan might wanted to. And everyone just starts to be spread out a little bit here now. We've got to the point in time where not everything is going to be that interesting. The rain separated everyone. I think the problem being the track that was selected for this was Silverstone, a notorious DRS track, followed by a rain stint where not a lot of people are doing a lot of anything. I want to say it's Riga and Robin better hope this goes wet enough for everyone to actually turn into the pits at some point. If not, then they've made a gamble, and for the second week running, Riga's gamble failed miserably. But in the meantime, we've still got Saeed versus Alu, the only one within even a second now. Never mind overtaking range. We head into turn number 3 up the hairpin there as Saeed is getting closer. He is definitely getting closer to the back of the Aston Martin by this point, but as for an overtake, we're going to have to wait to find out. He's got speed, just not got enough speed. And no late lunge either. Got about 0.3 of a second splitting these two. Hallinan also going after Riga right now, and I think that should be a relatively straightforward move. It looks like it is going to be a relatively straightforward move. Down the inside goes Hallinan, and there's no option for a switch back. Look at that. That's a nice move despite the tyre advantage. Actually, Alu has pulled a lot closer to Mildy than he may have realised. And in that case, we might have something here between Alu and Mildy coming down the straight. Also, Alu and Saeed, as they continue to fight on. And Saeed is still not doing enough in the wet to get past Alu. He should be by this point given the car. But that's why one's in tier 2, the other one's in tier 4. Tier 2 driver right now holding his own. Everything Saeed's got to throw at him has been met with one hell of a block. It's still going. They head through turn 1, turn 2, and now down toward turn 3 as the hairpin hits once again, and Saeed even closer than he was on the last lap. He was until he made a little bit of error there on the corner in the final sector. Now something's gone wrong, and I think Rigo's had a bit of a problem. Rigo did have a bit of a problem, but it looked like he's avoided damage, which is lucky to say the very least. Also got Swen now chasing down Mike, and Saeed's going to look to the outside here on Alu.
Are you paying for the money?
again just does not get anywhere near him. It's about 3/10 of a second still splitting these two. Alu doing enough to keep Saeed behind the battle for 7th. Swen also going to have a go at Mike in a minute. Currently under a second between the two. Also Alu closing in on Mildy. Mildy failing to do the same to Jaguar. And we might see a three-way fight. I know, ambitious for this point in the race, but we might see a three-way fight sooner rather than later. Take a drink to get me my voice through this a little bit. We got Saeed going about 4/10 of a second on the back of Alu. Alu gets a little bit too much curb, I think. In the Vale chicane might open the door for Saeed a little bit here. It's definitely going to get him closed in. Is he going to be able to do anything? Nope, he is still stuck behind that Aston Martin. It looks like Saeed just really loved the Aston Martin rear end. Looks like Swen also closing in on Mike. We've got a straight now, so that time should dip a little bit slow, a little bit lower. It actually hasn't. It's gone the other way. Maybe a little bit of a better exit plus the car advantage. In the favour of Mike, we have a yellow flag in sector 1. That's a Haas waiting for J-Ray. No, that's actually the lap car of Big Turns. Getting past on the way through. Going on to J-Ray versus Yalo by 8/10 of a second. Got a few fights going on now. Saeed, Alu and Milzy being the highlight of the battles. Same with Swen versus Mike. That might be coming into play sooner rather than later. Looks like 6/10 of a second split Alu and Mildy, and also 5/10 of a second split Swen. It's 4/10 of a second now splitting Swen and Mike. Swen's going to have a good go at this. 1/4 of a second split the two now. Going down toward the Vale chicane. Swen just doesn't get a good enough exit to pose a threat. Swen's going to have to wait another lap, I think, to get on the back of Mike properly as they go through the second to last. Now through the last corner, and Swen just gets way too much of an oversteer in terms of actually making that actually stick. Jack's gone in the pits and picked up 5 seconds for speeding. Also seeing that Alu versus Saeed going at about 3/10 of a second between the two of them right now. It looks like 3 into the pits. Bloodwave, Jack and Hallinan maybe all into the wets now. And yeah, they are all going on to the wets now. Yeah, 5 onto the wets now, and Rigo looks like he's going to get out just behind Jack. He is going to get out just behind Jack. It looks like Jack's got the lead of everyone on the wet tyres now. If people start to peel into the pit lane for tyres, this could become a lot more interesting. But Jack's 21 seconds behind J-Ray right now. In the pit lane, I don't think that will, well, it might be a little bit longer than that, maybe 27-ish seconds. There's still Alu with it teetering on the edge of a second. Then you've got Saeed about half a second behind him. You've got Swen and Mike trying to close each other down as well. It's a bit of a jostling match right now between a few people out there. Bloodwave against Robin as well. They're both onto the wet tyres. It looks like that's Mildy who's going to come in. And same with Jaguar. They both came into the pits. Saeed came into the pits as well and picked up 5 seconds. Some might brave it out. The top 4 didn't go into the pits. Mike's gained a half a second there on Swen. Robin picks up 3 seconds for track limits. So that leaves the bottom 3 and the top 6 all on the intermediate tyres right now. Everyone in between, it's just a giant intermediate sandwich. Joe's got a 6-second gap, so he would be able to take it if he could. If he wanted to, the pit stop. Probably get out, maybe just in front of Jaguar. Actually, be quite comfortably in front of Jaguar, unless this wet has substantially overtaken the intermediate tyre, and that's a wall there for Sven. He might have got a little bit of damage there on the inside. He certainly lost another half a second to Mike in the process, who's closing down Donny. He's now probably going to be within a second by the time the hanger straight hits. Either that, or he could slide through Magnus and Beckett to lose a tenth of the half. So he does the latter, and now Donny's going to get a better exit, and quite the time on him as well. Allows for Sven to gain some back. Mike did not have the greatest time there. Donny half lost into keeping Mike out, and Donny and Joe both come into the pits. I think there was a penalty that came up there, but I'm not entirely sure who it was for. Everyone forgetting that there's a 37-mile-an-hour limit instead of the 50. 3 more into the pits. Penalties for Joe. Yeah, it was 5 seconds for Joe that came up that I missed. 5 seconds for Donny, 5 seconds for Joe, 3 for Sven and Mike. Alu stayed out as well. 5 for Jaguar, 5 for Saeed, 8 for Jack, 3 for Rigo. More than half the grid now have that penalties in place, and there's 6 now on the intermediate tyres, and the rest of the grid, there are other 12 on the wet tyres, so not an awful lot changed. Donny may have just spun. Oh no, he didn't. He just dropped a few positions, and the yellow flag in the middle. Staber's out, and the yellow flag in the middle was Aston Martin, and now it's a safety car. Robin span, got away with it, survived, and then Staber DNF'd in the hanger straight, and now had a chance. Well, he's giving everyone else a chance, Staber, by spinning it. And, well, if I'm Mike, immediately into the pit lane. Immediately. No second questions asked. Take that time, get into the pit lane. Wouldn't even be questioning this. Same with Alu. Time you lose is just been cut in half, and realistically, you might be able to get out in 4th or 3rd. Well, that's just track limits, and you just got everything wrong there, Mike. That's not how you take a pit lane, lad. Well, Mike gets himself 3 seconds to straight up just cutting the pit lane. Alu stayed out. Alu is going to brave this weather. I'm not sure that's smart. I'm not sure that, well, we know it will go back to wet. Back to dry, sorry, at some point. I hope for Alu that his cold works. We've seen some ambitious calls so far today. There's a few people in the pits right now. Joe comes back into the pits, and immediate tyres on, so maybe, just maybe, Alu's call is a good choice. Maybe Alu saw something that I didn't, because it still looked pretty heavy rain. The track has got puddles all over the place, so it looked like very heavy rain. And wet conditions, it certainly is wet conditions, but maybe sooner rather than later it's going to turn dry. Well, it will turn dry, but much quicker than I thought it was going to. Oh! And Alu spun it! Alu spun it! Oh no! Alu has spun it under the safety car! Oh, Alu! And the Finnish boys are having a rough go at it today. Sabre crashed from the lead. Alu crashed from the lead under a safety car. They have had a very rough showing of it. Alu gets a drive-through for falling too far back, and that's a bit egregious. I think he might be either pitting or just straight up retiring now, but I don't know which one it is. Can't serve the drive-through now. I think he has to get a front wing change at the very least. He retires. Yeah, nope, not too surprising. Alu out of the session. The drive-through just not helping after the spin. Killed any chance of a return. He still had a very good shot at winning the race on the intermediate tyres there, but not great. Sabre and Alu, the finish boys, the only two out so far. As still 5 on the wet, 6 on the wets, and everyone else on the intermediates. On the intermediate tyres I count. So the real question is, which is the better tyre to be on, bearing in mind we are in a safety car period now. Big Terms also should probably give up at this point. A minute and 17 down off the next car. Yeah, I'd probably just retire in the pits. It's a bit after getting lapped. It's done that the game won't let you choose whether or not to let people go through under a safety car, but we can't really control that. But here we go as we well, we're not going good yet. We'll be on lap 19 under the safety car right now. We wait and see to figure out how this race is going to turn out. It looks like Major just picked up 3 seconds for track limits there, and a couple of things happened. Jaguar going into the pits now, and I assume that would be to get off the wets onto a set of intermediate tyres. He's going to serve 5 seconds as 5 of it is 5 seconds as well, and it's going to put him right at the back. Very interesting choice at the moment. It looks like Hallinan may have just span it there as well. Hallinan just about stayed in front of Bloodwavers there, but again, some people are not driving so well under the safety car here. Rather surprising. We got still got the safety car running. Major should be the back. I don't know. I do not know whether or not this is going to come in this lap. It could very well come in this lap. It feels like we've been under the safety car for 1.5 years now. But still, well, yeah, no, there you go, that's the line. So the safety car is going to come in this lap. Major's just been widely screwed. Mike and Swen still on intermediate, on wet tyres, the rest on intermediates. Like it's probably intermediate conditions are heading in that direction now. So we'll have to wait and see. Yep, Alu. What actually happened there, Alu? It didn't look very good at all. It looked like we are about to go here, and Big Turns is pitting, so I would assume it's about to be game over there. I assume that means you would have won if it wasn't for the safety car. Here we go, we're gone. So Mike versus Sven versus Joe. I think Joe might be the one for it right now, and well, even though the wets are having a good time, also be it considering Robin just had a little bit of a slide there, and J-Ray gets past Yarlo. A little bit of all over the place after the safety car. Was still going in that direction. J-Ray overtaken by Yarlo, who can't get an exit on the car. Fell a bit too far back and got a drive through. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not entirely sure what you were meant to do there. Yarlo finally gets past J-Ray and holds it this time. It looked like Donnie just got overtaken by Robin as well. Bloodwave versus Jaguar. Jaguar gets forced to the outside, and Bloodwave happily taking that position. In front of us, got Helen and Rigo, and even, I think that's Jack in front as well. Just getting literally shoved across the track. As we go along, Jack picks up another 3 seconds. Jaguar versus Bloodwave once again in front. Jack's out. Jack's out. We might have another safety car for that. Yep, we are going to have another safety car, and you couldn't go faster because of the conditions. Yep. Game screwed you. Ouch. Ouch indeed. We are going back under another safety car. It won't go fully dry. It's too late to go fully dry. And with that, you've got Major in the background there. It's probably wasn't very equipped for this race after no practice whatsoever. Robin and Joe. Robin into the pits. And honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even be pitting. I would just take my chances. I would just be taking my chances right now, I think. Too close. You were going to pitch on the last safety car. The slick intermediates, yeah, that would make sense. The intermediate tyres is very clearly, well, I would say it was very clearly intermediate conditions, but the wets were flying in this beforehand. That does make sense. You had only had 9 laps on the intermediates. I assume they would go somewhere in the region of 18 to 22 laps, so would not have surprised me if you had. And those are basically hard if you don't overheat them. There. You had the chance, and a bit unfortunate way to end. Also, Robin and Rigo on softs. It is still raining. They are aware of that, right? There's no way that comes dry enough by the end of this race to warrant a soft tyre. I mean, if it does, then fair fucking play, but I doubt that works. I very much doubt that works. How they got a P2 on Sundays, yeah. I feel like a lot of people are getting to that stage when it comes to these games now. I feel like that's what's going on. A lot of people are getting to that kind of stage. I got a, what? 23 is realistically the time we're going to start. Mike would have been hoping that the safety car had not come back out. He was building a little bit of gap there, Swan as well. It's still possible Mike wins this race. At the end of the day, it's still possible for Rigo and Robin as well if it turns out to be a miracle. Well, you shouldn't be in the Aston anymore. Well, That's possible. Should be a little bit higher than that next time round. If you're that high, if you're higher than that next time round, you might be in with a chance.
I did die.
There we go. Well, it's got to be in this lap, surely. I don't think Rigo's going to take... in a bit, Alu. In a bit. He could still get it. He had a lot of work to do, though. 6 seconds on the clock. Yeah. And he's got to get 6 seconds to Joe. A task is the very daunting task, a task he's gonna probably not get to do. It looks like we might be coming in at the end of this lap. Actually, nope, we're not, because Rigo hasn't in fact caught up to the back of us. So Rigo allowed for it to go 2 more in this race, essentially. We will go on lap 24, I believe, unless this is going to be the latest of all hell safety car restarts. No, it's not. So the safety car stays out. We will be going again on lap 24. Looks like Majors has gone into the pits. 2 laps left, there's no point. Absolutely no point. We've still got a lap to go under the safety car. We go through sector 1, heading down towards the sector 1 line for the final time under the safety car. We'll have about 2 laps left of racing. We will see if anything else is going to come out of the safety car, or if chaos is going to arise at the end of this, at the beginning of the next one. I don't think Major's going to be able to catch up again. Major's just left it too late to pit again, I think. We'll go through the second sector one last time under the safety car, 3rd last time in the race. Well, 4th last time. We'll have 24, 25, 26 left of the race for us to watch and enjoy. For a race with multiple safety cars, it doesn't feel like an awful lot's happened. Safety car obviously in this lap. Robin and Rigo need to catch up to that safety car, and Mike needs to slow this down. Mike choosing not to slow this down. It's the safety car now going into the pit lane. So, when is Mike going on the safety car restart? Are you going to go now? I would be going out this corner in the Vale chicane, as in right now. And that's where Mike is going to go. Maybe Sven was looking for it originally, and Donny spun it! Donny has spun it and dropped all the way down, so that's a position for Mike and Sven later on. We've got battles all over the place now. We've got J-Ray going against Jarlo and in front of that Mildy, and there's a little bit of a tap between the two of them. J-Ray's going to get past as well. I would like a good camera angle at some point in the near future. J-Ray able to hang around the outside there very nicely, and Hallinan versus Bloodwave. Also Jaguar on the outside, and Bloodwave might feel a little bit wronged out of that one. got a few overtakes in the brewing by the looks of things. Big Turn's also a lap down, a minute 58 behind anyone else. It looks like Joe is going to go against Sven, and we're going to watch that actually. They go down the straight, down into Cops, and it's not going to happen there. It might have happened there, but there's a little bit of a tap, and Joe has sent Sven very wide, and there's a yellow flag in the middle of the field, and there's Rico and Robin having a bit of a hard time on those soft tyres on a intermediate track. We've only got 3 laps left, so that's going to have to be a gamble that works very quickly if he's going to get anything out of it. And then he goes Saeed past Sven. And Saeed looks to put himself on the podium, maybe, just maybe, can he get himself close enough to Joe in front of him? Because about 4/10 of a second, he is right on the back of that. Williams in front of him. Williams in front of him also trying to get past the Ferrari currently leading the race. Sven goes into the pits, so probably not the greatest idea this close to the end of the race. It looks like Joe against Mike. Joe against Mike. Mike has the inside line. Mike still has the inside line. Joe has the better exit though, and Mike has gone round. Whether that was a little bit of a tap or not, I couldn't get a good enough angle to see. And now Joe's got 5/10 of a second there to Saeed, and the yellow flag in sector 1 is it's a McLaren alongside the Ferrari. Sven's in the pits. I think that is Mike alongside Donny actually. There it is. That's middle of the field. Both spinning out. Mike gone from leading the race to nowhere to, I'm guessing, contact in turn 3. Yalo round the outside now of Saeed into Cobb. What a move. What a move to hang around the outside even before the corner even came. Got it done. Big Time gets 3 seconds, multiple warnings, and that's just beating him out when he's down. And Yalo might be stamping some authority on this race with 1 1/4 laps to go. They're going to head down all the way down into the Hanger Straight now. And Stowe and Yalo is looking for it. Yalo is looking for a way to put himself in the lead of this race. And Saeed looking to try and get himself there as well. You got J. Ray and Millsy directly behind. 3 seconds for Rico at the back of the field have not enjoyed their time today. Donny gets past Mike as the track is very clearly not wet and it's actually in dry conditions now. It's too little, too late for anyone further back than Levi and Hallinan just got 3 seconds, and I think Joe might just get 3 seconds for just blatant corner cutting. And that touches Joe, touches Yalo on the re-entry as well. That's not the track, Joe. Not sure how that would be seen. Yalo trying to go down the inside there, had to back out at the end. Joe being slightly erratic here, I think. With his driving on the final lap to try and hold the lead. It's not exactly a conventional way of holding the lead, especially around Silverstone. Here comes Yalo's definitely got more pace. Let's see, going through, and there you go. Yalo has finally got past Joe, as Joe has just had a mistake after mistake after mistake on the final lap. Definitely had a chance to hold it, had a chance, and he's thrown it. And here comes Saeed with the DRS down the straight, and we might still have something left here for Saeed as well. He's going to look to the inside now. Is he going to get a better exit? He is not. He's still going to hold himself around the outside. Bloodwave gets 3 seconds, and Yalo clear in the end by half a second round the final corner, and able to win at Silverstone on the final lap. Joe second, Saeed third, Jaguar fourth, J-Ray had a penalty, I'm assuming 10th, 5th, Millsy 6th, Bloodwave 7th, Hallinan 8th, Donny 9th, Major's going to come round in 10th, Mike 11th after contact and not ever coming off those wet tyres. Actually, Robin's going to jump Mike in the end, I think, but I think that might be a penalty related anyway. Sven gets 12th, Mike 13th, Rigo 14th, and Big Turn the lap back. There you go. Well then, that is a different way of... There's a different way of doing sprint. I think that's definitely something we can say. Mike loved Ferrari so much he turned into a Ferrari strategist. Yeah, no, that's fair. I feel like that's a generous way of putting what you just did. It's certainly an interesting view of sprint. That is probably the calmest sprint race I've ever seen. But yeah, that's a bit of a different rendition on sprint. We don't have F1 this week for the tier races. Do we have... Well, we don't have GT until Monday either. So Monday is a race of champions. And we also have a week's break off of sprint. So, as for what's happening over the rest of the week, there isn't anything from ALR. You might see GT races pop up here and there. And then you've got ROC on Monday, followed by the Nations Cup beginning on Wednesday. But apart from that, I think I'm done. That's all from me. Goodbye.